Hello. Hi everyone. Oh my god. Hello. I've just looked twice and then another time at the chat window telling me that 96 people rated this channel. What happened? Hello. Thanks for joining me for another art stream on Thursdays. 98 people, what the hell? Well, thank you also Andreas for unlocking a Pride Unicorn emote. Thanks. And thanks oh my god, and here we go. Good morning. Thank you Roach for a subscription for 3 months straight, thank you. Hey, also Thompson and Symbius and Nick for following the channel, thank you very much. Yes. Also, yeah, guten Appetit to everyone who just joined from the dinner stream. I hope you're all enjoying your meal. I also had dinner and it was very nice, but we just ordered food, so no Orkenspalter cookbook for us today, I'm afraid. Well, welcome to another sponsored live stream by the lovely folks. Oh my god, here we go. Thank you for the subscription, Thompson. Thank you very much, and thank you for the. Oh, it was a gift sub. Thank you, anonymous gift sub, and I got another Pride emote for Pride Month. That's nice. Happy Pride Month, everyone, with new emotes. Very cool. Thanks for the cheer as well. Oh my god, we are having a hype train already. I'm going crazy here. This is insane. Okay, I'm turning the music down a little bit because I think I'm a bit further away from the microphone again. Yes, today we are going to be drawing some more Arclands fan art. To everyone who's new here, I know some folks at the company called Verse Studios. This is their Twitter account, go check it out. And they made basically a new D&D world that you can play in, and a sort of D&D supplement / world / unique spell system, new races, new classes, new system, fate points, cool new functions, and basically asked me to do some art for them, so I am doing that. And I'm just gonna open some more of my references. So basically, tonight it's about magic. Thank you for the bits! I love that gif. There you go, I got my references. Oh, so many things in the chat. This is very sweet. Thank you very much. Hype away! Yes, yeah, so Arclands is a D&D world you can play in. It's got its own systems basically that you can use in addition to your basic D&D 5 rules. And the idea is that it's a completely new world with its own magic system, its own... Excuse me for the noise. Thank you, LZOW, for the follow. It's its own kind of world. It has unique races and classes that work with with this world together, and basically a completely new magic system where instead of just getting a list of spells when you create your character, when you create like a wizard or something, instead you start out with a mundane class. So you start out with like a knight, for instance. You're my mother tongue. No, I think you got that right. Don't know. I don't know what you mean though. Thanks anyway. Yeah, basically you start out with a mundane class, and then you can add to that sort of magical awakening. So we're going to look at today what that looks like. Oop. This is not small enough. There we go. So basically, Jesus, I've been painting a bit the other day and I did all my resettings. That's better. So basically what I'm going to be trying to do is I'll try and do some basically concept art. But you know, I haven't actually done a lot of concept art before, so sorry, I constantly get interrupted, but I have to say thanks. Thanks, Shazel, for the subscription. Well, thank you, Anonymous Gifter, for giving a subscription. Thanks very much. Oh, British or German? Oh, I'm German. I'm German, but I have the benefit of living with a British person who rubbed off on me, I'm afraid. Or rather, I'm lucky. So, but thank you, that's a very nice compliment. Hello, Monarch. Everyone, stream. This is Monarch. This is, oh my god. This is my friend from Verse Studios, who basically is hanging out here and who's responsible for part of the rules that have been written and who has kindly Skyped with me again and explained some more about the Spellforges the other day, so I'm all prepped with background knowledge. So if you have any questions about Arclands, feel free to ask Monarch here. Also, thank you, Anonymous Gifter, for another another subscription and congrats. We have another hype train emote. Enjoy your bunny emotes, guys. Right. Hype train. This is really great. This is starting out great. I know we went down to like 50 odd, but that was best to be expected. But I'm still I'm pretty chuffed to see so many of you here. Great. So like I said, I'm gonna be trying to do some essentially concept art. So it's not so much character art, but more concept art basically. But I'll be trying to do some thumbnailing basically and get an idea of the kind of scenes that I'm imagining. I think kind of in terms of like pens, I want something more chiseled, but I'll have to do with this one. It actually works quite well. So, you don't know anything about Arclands? Well, I'm going to be talking about it a little bit because this is a sponsored stream, so that's why I'm here, to explain a little bit. Yeah, you're welcome, Micah, and just check out the Twitter if you want to find out more. And also, there's a lot of information about Arclands in their World Anvil, which is also linked down here. So you can also check out the World Anvil. That's quite helpful, actually. So, before I talk anymore, this is my water. Very salty Asian food today. Right. So, Spellforges. So basically, you know, in D&D, pardon me. In D&D, you basically have spellcasting classes that you know, just come sort of equipped with spells and magical abilities and etc. And basically whenever you level up you just get like new spells just automatically. In some classes you have to prepare them, in other classes you don't, you get some less spells, you just have access to all of them. But essentially you end up at level 10 or something with like a huge list of spells. So the idea is that and all these spells are always the same, so even if your setting, for instance, is slightly different, or even if you'd like to play a different setting, the spells in D&D are just kind of the spells in D&D. And that's just kind of what you're sort of stuck with, I suppose. And some DMs, they reskin them, you know, they don't call it Mordenkainen's mansion or whatever, they call it something in somebody else's mansion, and they skin it to their thing. Or some characters, some people, you know, they skin it to their characters and call it after themselves and things like that. But Arclands basically goes a step further in that you don't actually just get a list of spells, but you have to create your own spells. It's not just optional, you go and create your own spells, that's what you do. So, essentially, in the course of the campaign that you play in Arclands, or in the course of the adventure, you would basically come across, you know, you can't just invent your own spells. Essentially, you would come across these Spellforges in the world. So basically imagine a world to which, I've mentioned it last time, to which magic has only recently sort of returned, right? And it's sort of leaking in through these cracks into the world. So you get these cracks of magic that sort of bubble up. Hello, Nick. This is also one of the designers of Arclands. Welcome. Thanks for the follow as well. So basically, you would have these cracks in the world where the magic is potent. Oop. That didn't quite work out the way I wanted it to. References. So basically you have these cracks in the world, and basically where they appear, this is where you'll get Spellforges. So Spellforges are basically just places in the world where the characters have an opportunity to create magic. The resident lore master is here. Ooh, gotta be careful what I say now so I don't make any mistakes. But I think I got this. So essentially, you have sort of these cracks in the world, and if you're, well, the way that Micah explained it to me, which I think was very well spoken, is that the characters are special, right? That's why you play a role-playing game. The characters are different, the heroes. In D&D, this is reflected in general by the fact that the heroes have ridiculously better skills than everyone else, right? Oops. Didn't mean to do that. So they have higher value stats, essentially. And in Arclands, it's also a bit more than that. It's also the fact that they can actually perceive the magic in the world, because they're sort of awoken to it, basically. So they can see it, they can interact with it, rather than normal people who can't just interact with the magic. So they would just walk through a Spellforge, they wouldn't even notice it was there. And essentially the idea is that the characters would then sort of stumble into these Spellforges, or they would go like, hang on a minute, something's different here. And then they would know that there's something they can do, basically, and they would make contact with the keeper of the Spellforge. And the keeper of the Spellforge can take all sorts of forms. Thank you. It's like a quiz. The keeper of the Spellforge can be all sorts of things. So essentially what I'm drawing right now is I'm drawing a Spellforge that's in a forest. He's sort of this kind of deer character as the keeper, basically. So I want some kind of tree, basically. Magical tree situation, because, you know, of course that's what I want. Basically got this situation where the characters would stumble across this, like, in a forest, and because yeah, this is the crux of the Spellforges. Hey, pizza. More hands? No, not today. No hands today, I'm afraid. I've got a day off. The beauty of the Spellforges is that they can look whatever you like. They can look Like, they could be in a mine, they could be in a forest, they could be an abandoned house somewhere, or a mystical house that suddenly appears that wasn't there before, or they could be an obelisk in the middle of nowhere. So I'm just going with forest, but I'm planning on doing a bunch of different ones. So this is going to be less large painting and more more sort of like I said, concept art kind of situation. And yeah, essentially, you get to the Spellforge, and then the Forge Keeper will appear to you and interface with you. So it's a bit like a computer interface, except it's magical. So essentially, the Forge Keeper basically has this own understanding of what you may want. So you go in there and you basically say, well, or you go up to the Spellforge and you want to create a certain spell in a certain way. But the Forge Keeper is basically designed to understand what you want. So you can go up to them and you can, they will understand what you want from them. And it's kind of really up to the DM, which is another thing in Arclands I quite like. It's kind of up to the DM of what you make out of it. So you can really sort of fit this to your own playing style. So if you prefer a more sort of mysterious campaign, then you can all dark and whatever with some kind of mystery behind it. You could make this also very dark and creepy, even make it creepy. Hell, like have it be like a really spooky swamp, with like some kind of spooky swamp witch or something. I don't know. The possibilities are endless. Whereas if you're aiming for like a more mystical fantasy kind of setting, then how do I combine these? I don't actually know. Yeah, so if you're going for like a mystical fairy kind of setting, then go for like the fairy tale kind of situation in the forest, like I am right now. Or if you're into my voice is too quiet. Okay. Yeah. I am still experimenting with the correct position of microphone versus tablet. Thank you for the note. Yeah, so the thing is, you can do whatever you want. So I was also thinking, now that I've explained a little bit what this is about and what I mean by you can do anything, if you guys in the chat have some suggestions for what kind of Spellforges you would create in your games, then I'd be happy to draw them. So, for instance, if you say, oh, I would like to draw a game that's very low fantasy or something, and I would have very low magic, I would turn this forge into an actual forge. Literally, hammer and tongs, that sort of thing. Or you could make it really mystical, you could turn it into this cloud experience. But yeah, if you have any ideas what you'd like to see, then feel free to let me know, and I will see if I can accommodate it. And I will just keep on collecting some ideas. Don't worry, I'll make that a bit more detailed later, but I just wanted to get some sort of some thumbnails with ideas down, basically. Also, I haven't actually gushed on about how much I love this tablet yet, but boy, has this tablet sped up my work. The other day, actually, I was just painting on it, just for fun, and I wasn't worried or bothered, and it just worked, and boy, that was nice. So yeah, I'm still super excited about that. So here I'm trying to draw some kind of three-dimensional cave entrance. Not sure if it's working. I'm still experimenting a bit with this gouache pencil paintbrush I'm working with. It's quite good, but it requires a little bit of practice, I think. Okay, so cave entrance of some sort. A witch's cauldron with lots of herbs, bubble, bubble, toil and trouble. Yeah, that's exactly, like in a swamp or something. We should definitely do that next. What kind of tablet am I using? I've recently bought a new tablet. It's a Huion Canvas Pro 20-inch 2019 version. Such a long thing to say. Yes, so a Huion Canvas Pro basically, and I've got the 20-inch one, which is very comfortable to draw on and has a fantastic stand. Which I cannot stop talking about how good that is. Just make it clear that this is not supposed to be a tent, this is supposed to be a fucking cave entrance. God damn it. I'm sorry for swearing. I shouldn't swear so much on a sponsored stream, but there we are. This is supposed to be a cave entrance, not a tent. This is turning into a rapidly huge thumbnail as well, I realise that. But yeah. Thanks, Schnufflasi. Thank you. Thank you, lovely assistant. Oh god, another wonderful shortcut I discovered the other day when I was doing my Patreon hangout. The Control E button in Clip Studio Paint, you know, puts layers together, which I use quite a lot. Turns out it's also the button that hangs up a Skype call. It took me about 3 times to figure that out and remind myself not to use Clip Studio Paint's functions while Skyping with people. So yeah, there we are. This music always reminds me of the soundtrack of Amelie, doesn't it? Really bad at drawing rocks. But I had a reference for the magical forest, and I've drawn magical forest before. Didn't have a reference for the cave, so I'll do better. But still looks a bit like a wonky tent. Sponsors say worse things than that every day. Good to know. Well, what was I? Right, magic. So, who would be living in this cave? Maybe sort of like a Nolly dwarven-y kind of creature, so like a little earth creature or something, I don't know. Not exactly a dwarf or anything, because I don't think dwarves really exist in Arclands. I don't think there was any. Or maybe not. Maybe not. I mean, more something more animalistic. Maybe a bear. I just drew a bear in a cave quite a lot. Then it would just always be animals. I guess it could be a spirit as well. Also, would it be cool if there was like a sort of fiery glow coming from the center of this cave, because you actually had to like, you know, you had to actually have to actually like forge whatever it is you want to make. I could have like a little sort of little symbol. Symbol on the side of it here, so maybe a bit washed out maybe. There we go. Maybe the joy of a new setting is the new things. The only negative is remembering that things are different. Arclands has new races and classes to support the new magic system, but in 5e settings you can bring your traditional D&D races in if you choose. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I said that last time as well. I mean, obviously, if you are just going to, you know, you can just play Arclands basically with all Arcland stuff, but you could also make a custom world or whatever if you're planning on making a custom setting for your D&D campaign anyway, and basically take the Arclands magic system or taking some of the Arclands races and putting them into yours. I mean, be creative. It's really good inspiration, I'd say. Like, even if you're planning something for your own group, for your own campaign, just for inspiration, really. That's why I like being able to I'll have to think about a forge keeper for that one. What would be a good forge keeper for this cave? I'll have to think of something. I don't really want it just a straight up dwarf, because that would be too stereotypical. Something different, maybe some kind of cotton olm or something, you know. Hey, another setting. We wanted swamp with Swamp Witch. Right. So we'd have sort of make ourselves a little canvas. I've discovered recently the joys of thumbnailing, you guys. Can only recommend it when you're planning a painting. I'm usually sitting in front of an empty page and just going, ugh, what should I draw? How should I draw? What, how, which forms, blah, blah, blah. And then just draw a thumbnail. It just helps. Mrs. Brisby. Liking the bat, liking the imp. Oh yeah, small lava imp, a bat. Ah, I like both of those. That is really cool, yeah. I think we should have some bats. It's a cool idea for a thing, and I think I'll go with the lava imp, because I like the idea of that image, kind of, if it's sort of glowy in here. Sort of like a little fire creature. has been pointed out to me that my my art for Arclands so far has been rather cutesy style. Absolutely, that is my art style. I'm afraid I haven't really got much of an art style, but I do draw things rather cutesish, and I've been told before by people like, oh, you know, draw more edgy, draw more like. Don't know, draw more edges and corners, and you know, you'll be more versatile. But I don't know. You gotta also draw what comes natural to you, I guess, or what's fun for you, what you want to draw. I'm all for like learning versatility and learning different skills, but it is also comforting to be able to draw the nice things that you want to draw. I just tend to draw things a bit cuter, I guess. There we go. There we go, got a little fire imp. I do like the squash brush, it just kind of blends everything so nicely. Look at him, so cute. Turned out very cute. Baby Groot, yes! Shit, yeah, it's Fire Groot. It's very much me, I suppose it is. Oh, sorry for your crashes. Forge Keeper for the Cave Bear. Yeah, I thought of bear as well, but it just drew lots of bears. I thought it was only animals. But yeah, my ambition one day is to write an adventure with the Forge Keepers basically bowing in Labyrinth. Yes. Goblin King Forge Keeper. Why not? That would be amazing. You imagine him burning mad in anguish. You guys are so sweet. Yeah. Anguish. It doesn't look like anguish, it looks cute. Right. Okay, I'm gonna thumbnail this one. So we want a sort of a swamp. Actually, that would be more flat. So we'd have sort of trees, and then but there'd just be gunk hanging off them, you know, like swamp gunk. Yes, that is an official term. This is probably, if you played with a Jiraki, you'd probably end up playing somewhere with the swamp, or they'd be playing somewhere else, of course, but you know. Something a bit more, maybe all a bit greenish, even the trees. And now that it's got eyes, it looks adorable. The difference that can make. We have to add Fire Baby Groot to the game somewhere. Oh, please do. Cute violent. Oh my god, a zombie type body in the swamp. Oh Jesus. How about we do like a Forge Keeper in the swamp, and it's like a sort of a witch, but it would be like an undead witch, or like a swamp kind of creature witch, like that. Actually, I should draw more stuff like this. This is really fun, like this kind of concept, yeah, doodling. Quite enjoy this. There we go. Bit less color. Go. A bit more darkness. Nice little setting. A hunchback and a crooked nose. All would you like? Yes. So we want a bubbling cauldron was requested. So we shall have a bubbling cauldron. Maybe sort of like a sort of natural looking cauldron. So I'm not imagining like a proper cauldron, but more like something that someone's put together from rocks or something. So it'd be like this, you know, sort of like half a tree stump and sort of leaned against, you know, grown into a rock. Well, all I can say is when I talked about the Spellforges with Micah, I immediately wanted to run this campaign thing and just go like, oh yeah, you could have like a forest, and you could have this, and you could have this character, and you could do it this way, and yeah. So, here we go, we have like this. Oh no, I want this to be a rock. They sent me. It is a mossy rock, and a mossy rock with overgrowth or something. There we go. And this tree has sort of, you know. Just kind of see the I see the bubbles of this cauldron, and again there's another thing that I'm imagining would work really well. You can also match the type of forge you find. If I played this with characters and you know exactly what kind of characters they would be, you could match the forge with what kind of magic users they want to be. Ooh. He looks so swampy. In the midst of finishing up Arclands at the moment, we'll drop you a link. Yes! Next big Kickstarter. Yay! Support creators! Creators supporting creators. I agree. I'm glad we're doing this. This is really cool. Basically, where was I? Right, so the cool thing is about the magic. I have a lot more to say about this because I got a briefing. Right, now we want spooky swamp creatures. I'm imagining sort of like a low hunched head. Bit darker than that, bit darker. That's better. Hunchback.
sort of, you know, sort of hand, arms.
Alright, sorry, it's difficult to talk and concept art at the same time. But I guess that's how the stream works, eh? Essentially, the magic works in a certain way. So, I'm just not going to go too much into detail about the rules, obviously, but basically, there's a system of fate points where you can, you know, basically a sort of scaling system gives you an idea of how much points you have. What kind of stuff you can make basically at what level. So there's an idea. You can't just Spellforge willy-nilly basically anything you want. You basically go, okay, I've got this many points to spend. That could get me a spell that can do the following things. And you basically got an idea of what kind of spell you want to make, and the rules basically tell you how you what you have to spend to make that. And then you can kind of roleplay the whole thing. So you can do the maths with your DM beforehand, basically, or you can give them kind of an idea of what you want, and then the DM can narrate how exactly that looks. So, for example, the you know, in D&D, your spells have a range and a potency and like damage dice and stuff, and those are all basically things that will cost you points. So making like a really simple spell with a really low range, for instance, would be cheaper than making, you know, the uber mega cloud kill spell that deals you know, 100 d6 damage to everyone or something. That would be more expensive. So just to give you a rough idea how you make a spell. And it's basically works it's fairly simple actually. And the idea that I really liked is that you can make these signature spells. So you can just make these like really unique and weird spells if you wanted to. So you don't have to make a fireball. You can make a fireball, but you don't have to make a fireball. You could just make something really weird. You could make a ball of acid. I mean, I know there's acid spray and all these kind of things, but you could basically tweak it so it looks exactly like what your character would want to do. And because the spell forging is something you don't just you know, you don't just do all the time, or you wouldn't get 100 spells basically. You would get a few really cool, unique spells that you made yourself in the story, and that may even have some personal significance to the character at the time. Especially if you get higher level and have higher level characters that have a bit of story behind them. I would imagine that their spells would become more unique to them, or more individualized depending on what they've been through in the story. So you could make like a really cool kind of, you know, kind of thing that works very well with the inside of the characters basically. So not just impersonal things, but very personal. So yeah, that is essentially what I really like about it. And you have this idea of just making this a bit smaller over here. And the cool thing is the fact that in D&D normally some of your spells, they're just like, you know, first level spells, second level spells. Once you get those 5th level spells and stuff, you're not going to be using your first and second level spells quite so much maybe at some point. I mean, you'll still use them, but you'll definitely be using them less and less, especially some of your low-level damage spells if you're looking to do damage and you're starting to have a lot of spell slots like wizards at higher level. And then they kind of just become dead weight, whereas here the spells, they grow with you. So, you know, you can use them at any level that you want. And you still have Yeah, I think you still have spell slots. I think you do. But yeah, I think you have more freedom in basically how you use them. Right. What other kind of... should we do some more? I actually quite like the thumbnailing. I'd like to do some more. Any more ideas for a spell cast? Yeah, you have spell slots. Yeah, you can cast any spell you created with any spell slots you have available at the time. So yeah. Exactly, that's what I meant. So you can use the spells whenever and not just, you know, sure, in D&D, normally first level spells sometimes have a thing where you can cast them at higher level, but not all spells have that, so, you know, I guess it really depends. What else we could have? Ooh, I have an idea. We could make like a sort of a natural pool and then make it like this watery Spellforge. When in doubt, always go for the elements. Go. Yes, I know it looks like the oil monster from Star Trek The Next Generation, but bear with me. There we go. Now it's a waterfall. Magic. Anyway, what was I gonna say? Oops. Yeah, so, magic, anyway. So yeah, imagine what kind of spells you would make. So I was thinking super individual, signature spells. Oh yeah, and also the spells is really cool as well. You don't just cast them as normally, you create this glyph of them. So you go like, you know, we should come up with spell glyphs for all of these forges that we drew. Absolutely. I will do that once I'm finished with this waterfall. Oh man, this is really fun. I should draw more like concept arty stuff. I'm just usually just getting really disappointed with myself because I can't perfectly draw anatomy or, you know, hands. But sometimes it's nice to just go, actually, there's some things that work out if you try them. And they're not terrible.
And also I think I'm getting the hang of this tool a bit more. So yeah, with the whole like unique individualization, like I'm a big fan of that. So for example, I really liked what when we played the Orkenspalter thanks. When we played the Orkenspalter D&D campaign, I some of you may remember this. I played a gnome barbarian, which was one of the funnest characters I've drawn. I've had the fortune of playing. She was hilarious, and Myri took my concept of this like tribal barbarian gnome, and as far as I remember, that was kind of the basis for turning the gnomes into this generally sort of nomadic, or not nomadic necessarily, but sort of like this tribal culture. And I had this wonderful scene where at the end she explained how my character became this like thank you, how, you know, became this shaman for her people, basically, because she had these like animal totems, because she was a tribal barbarian. She had like the power of the eagle, so she could see very far, and like I'm really sad we never had level 14, because at level 14 she could have been able to fly short distances. Can you just imagine, you know, gnome airstrike. Oh man, gnome barbarian airstrike. I'm so sad that we never got to that level. That would have been fun. But yeah, I really like that the gnomes in that world, rather than the gnomes usually, they're usually these like tinkerers, right? They're very advanced technology, very advanced civilizations. And in that game, they just turned out to be tribal and had like this really interesting culture. And, you know, I rewrote all that, and it worked out really well. But I'm really glad I had some input on that, basically, with my silly barbarian character. That was just nice, you know? And yeah, I'm still kind of chuffed about that, to be honest. That was really cool little campaign. Well, I say little, it's like 2 years of campaign, but you know. So, you know, like in D&D, I really like it when people sort of like make their own setting and come up with their own sort of ways of doing this. Like, gnomes don't always have to be tinkerers and super advanced, and you know, stuff like that. No man's land. Can you create a spell as a tattoo so the body will be your spellbook? Oh, that's a cool idea. Yeah. Damn, yeah. Man, if you asked me that in my campaign, I would say heck yeah, absolutely. Like, you can inscribe the spell in your spellbook, but I don't see why there's a reason why you shouldn't put it on your body. Maybe I should use the actual spray tool rather than just, you know, doing it by hand and annoying the hell out of you guys who have to listen to it. There we go. That's better. Okay. I want to draw just a little bit more sort of rocks in the foreground to just kind of create a bit more depth. Only one class really uses a spellbook. You can use tattoos, cards, a book, whatever else you can write stuff on. Oh, it's so cool. Oh, yeah, there was another thing. I'm meaning to get to that. I still have stuff to talk about. So yeah, I love the idea with cards as well. You could play this like tarot kind of witch kind of character. And just, you know, have these playing cards basically. Yeah. So yeah, I've been talking about spells, but like I said, you don't necessarily have to create spells by themselves. So if you don't want to play a spell caster, but you are still a character that technically has access to using magic, you could also become an enchanter. So you could, instead of forging a spell that you cast all the time, you could forge a spell that you cast on something. Like you could enchant your armour. Or, as Micah pointed out, you could enchant your horse. So, during my personal playtests, a Tome Bearer Marauder wrote her spells into a deck of cards and deal people their death as a fortune teller. Oh, that is so cool. I like that. I really like that. Sounds like a character you would play, Micah, as well. Sounds like characters that you've played in the past. Sounds familiar. That's really cool. So yeah, you could enchant your horse, for example. And I love that we were immediately brainstorming, going, oh yeah, you could have like enchanted horse. You could turn your horse into like, you could have a normal horse, right? And then you could just go enchant the horse, and then you could turn it into like a fire-breathing unicorn or something, because why the hell not? And that would also be a valid thing to do at a Spellforge. And I love it. I love that idea. Can you just imagine sort of like a badass knight, and then you're like, well, I don't want to cast spells. I know, hey, why don't you enchant your sword? Nah, everybody enchants their sword. That's boring. I know, I'll enchant my horse. There we go, now we've got a... Now I just want to make a sort of slight shadow at the sides here where the rocks are kind of... sort of shadowing this a little bit. And then we can, and then it makes the glow stand out more. And then, we could have the Forge Keeper either be like a sort of fairy that floats above the water, or it could be a fish. A bit like an Avatar. It could be this like magical koi or something. Horse enchanting. Oh no. Mounts are friends. Mounts are friends, not food. Yeah, sure. Micah, post your Patreon link. I'll share it. It's fine. A little seahorse. Oh, I'd be hard to see you because it'd be tiny. Spellbooks. My warlock wears an ivy Oakleek's clover crown that works as a tome of the pact. Oh, that's cool. I like that. I like a crown out of leaves. Sweet. Well, the enchant a shark with land breathing and flying. Heck yeah. Yes to that. I think I'll make sort of a magical fish, because why not? So basically, you know what I said about the different kinds of spells you could have. Basically, you could make the forge fit what your players want to do. So if you have a bunch of characters who don't actually want to be like magical, mystical, super fancy spellcasters, but they'd rather enchant their horses and armor, you could make like a literal super forge and just have them work on their own armor. You can basically make it so that your characters feel like it's tailored for them, you know. Or you could mess with them and give them like a magical girl forge with, you know, frills and pink unicorns, and then watch them forge their own armor because it's funny, you know. A bit tiny, but it works. The Forge Keeper is... There we go. Bit of water effects. It's alright for a little concept art. I'd say that's good. Well, thank you. Glad you like it. Your river nymph gets a badass flying shark. That sounds amazing. There's literal burrowing land sharks. I'm gonna have to Google that now, you know. Magical girl forge. That's how they go through all those color schemes. Shoujo forge. I love that. Should we do a shoujo forge? Thank you very much. I'm quite pleased with it as well. Yeah, you know, sure, why not? Let's do Magical Girl Forge. Why not? I may be influenced by our superhero campaign where we literally just had a magical girl setting, which I loved. So... so much fun to play with. Let's make this a bit bigger so people can see what's going on. Okay, Magical Girl Forge. How would that even look? Two eyes peering through the waterfall. That sounds cool. A bunny with an astronaut helmet. What was I? I feel like I wanted to say something else, but what was it? Oh, that's right. We wanted to add the glyphs. I wanted to add some glyphs to these things. I'm going to be looking at my reference glyph that I was sent. So essentially, you know how you said you could tattoo it on your body or something. So yeah, it's not even written down as a spell would be written down. Even though I wonder anyway how that works, because again, it's kind of your own interpretation, isn't it? So basically you would go and say, you know, on my character sheet, it says, this spell has a range of 30 feet. It can be cast against this person. It scales at higher levels. That sort of thing, right?
but what does it look like in your book? So my warlock has Pact of the Tome as well, and she's got this magical book that she was given by Oberon, the Green Lord. That's her Pact Lord, right? Her warlock patron. So I kind of made a story about her and said, okay, she's got this book which is made of like leaves and stuff, and she writes down what happens in the campaign. So she takes notes about all of the stuff they find in the Jungle of Chald. So I basically said from the beginning that she takes those notes in character, so that she has this book and she writes all these things down. And that because the knowledge for her is power, and knowledge for her is the most interesting thing, that book is powerful because it contains everything that she's learned or knows. So her spells would be crammed sort of in between the things that she's written down. But I don't know what the spells would actually look like when written down. So in Arclands, Micah provided me with an idea of what a spell crest would look like. So I'm gonna give you a rough idea. I'm not gonna draw the exact thing, Micah, because I don't want to steal your thing. But just give me an idea. So it'd be these like symbols, right? So for instance, we'll say, okay, we'll go to this water forge and we'll say we want to create a spell that has something to do with water. So I would say in the middle, it could be this like, you know, I'll do this like very rough, but basically design like a what we say, like a Chinese symbol or something, and then you get like a sort of, it's a jumping off point. Yeah. The glyph encyclopedia. Oh yeah, that was a stretch goal, wasn't it? So I'm just kind of designing this glyph now. And it doesn't have to be the exact shape, but I want these to be lots of sort of wave forms. I realize it's not really it's not really what it ends up looking like, but so this would be our glyph that we would inscribe on this, and then I would inscribe that on my armour, and it would make me more resistant to water, for instance, or maybe it would give me water breathing. That would be cool. So basically just make my character able to water breathe, or maybe I'll have it tattooed on my chest and then I can water breathe. Or I could, you know, things like that basically. Let's do one for the others as well. This is really cool. So swamp glyph. I haven't played Deadlands, but yeah, but something like that. So if you have like rules in books, things in books, but stuff in between, I like that. That's exactly what I mean. Yeah. Okay. So for this one,
I want this to be something poisonous. I know I'm being very elemental here, but this is a good example. You could go way more crazy and way more creative, to be honest, but... I'm being deliberately kind of obvious, if you will. There we go. So that would be the effect, and sort of poison, I guess. And then we'd have target, and then we'd have the effect. That's not quite it. Maybe we just do like a sort of... no. It'd have to be something triangular as well. So maybe it's just a sort of a frame for the glyph. Yeah, that works. Doesn't have to be super elaborate. And then I want some kind of element at the bottom here. Yeah, I think that's it. Give it a bit of a glow. This one as well. Something a bit more blue. There we go. Bit of glow is always nice for magical glyphs. Also, that's pretty. Thank you. Yeah, exactly. So the parts of the glyph would be so in the middle you would have something like, what effect does it have? How long does it take? Like what's the damage dice? What's the target? What's the action required to use it? So you basically have to decide on all of these components. So if you take any D&D spell and basically take it apart, and basically go, you know, what are the things that make up the spell? And then imagine you could just decide on all of these things randomly yourself, you know. And then you have a pretty good idea of how this works. Okay, so how about if this is the spell created at the forge, maybe it's something like heat metal or something. I'm making something sort of deliberately a bit different shaped. They're always a bit crest shaped, so they look a bit like a banner or a crest. But obviously there's no reason why it can't be like circular or something. Again, I think your creativity is fairly open. If you get like a glyph encyclopedia, I guess you could probably create your own spell glyphs based on what the encyclopedia is like. So, but like I said, like assembling runes or something, which in itself is a really cool idea.
There we go, sort of like a fiery glyph. That was a bit big. Now we need one for the deer in the forest. I realised that painting hasn't been... That was like my warm-up deer. That's the idea, it's for people who like visual representation but can't draw. So you need like an encyclopedia of what to draw. Yeah, I mean, that makes sense. That would be really helpful, I think, for lots of people who want to have some kind of nice picture, but need a bit of a hand, basically. Okay, so now I want something like naturey. I want a naturey glyph, so... this is a bit too simplistic. I guess that's very simplistic as well, but there we are. So, for example, I would imagine if the duration in this case is a circle, maybe it would be like perpetual or something, or it would be for like a whole day. Trying to design something that looks sort of vaguely like sort of something that planty, but at the same time would also be applicable to other spells, because obviously the plant fire thing wouldn't be represented in the actual glyph. I mean, you could draw it like that, of course. I don't think there's any reason why you shouldn't, but that looks a bit like a smiley face now. There we go. Now it looks like a little urn or something. The glyph could be a forest spirit. Yeah, it looks a bit like that. Right. It's fun. To message you with the other game. Cool. Yes. Micah, good luck with your Patreon, and also go find him on Twitter. It's very creative. I'm looking forward to it. Send me the link, and like I said, feel free to post the link. You're not allowed to post it, but I can post it if you want. Plug. Right. Do we have time for a magical girl forge? Yes, we do. What would that look like? So you have a fantasy world. How would that normally look like? It would always be like an accessory kind of thing that triggers your transformation, wouldn't it? So you would, instead of crafting a spell itself, you would probably craft like a magic wand or something that would you could then use. What would the forge look like? It would be something with crystals, I'm sure. I'm thinking a lot of Sailor Moon, of course. Yeah, crystals. Let's do crystals.
That was you just sending me the link on Skype, wasn't it?
I'm going to copy it in the chat, not a problem. Okay. Crystals. I also need some references for crystals. Oh, so pretty. So pretty. Okie dokie. So this is Micah's Twitter. Go check it out. And this is the new Patreon. If you're interested in other stuff he makes, feel free to go and have a look. There we go. I have. Oh my god! If you Google crystals, so pretty. Right. Now this suddenly becomes a tutorial that I'm making for myself, how to make crystals, because I'm literally just looking at Google and going, polygons? Random polygons? Basically making a foreground, a background, and a sort of a mid-ground. There we go. That's a good start. And now, instead of using my painterly tool, I'm using a slightly harsher tool. The World Anvil error page. Oh, does the link not work to the World Anvil? Oh, should I copy on the If I need to change the links in... Oh, you typed it wrong. Okay, good. Whew, I just get really worried. Like, oh no, I've been plugging the wrong link. Yeah, we should have like magical girl background music, but
me having no experience with crystals. Looks about right-ish. Epic music just for crystals. Can I make it so that just... Yes, I can! I can just select this pink square and not the other pink square, because then I can do sort of this like shading that goes on in crystals, right? No idea if this is looking realistic. Again, like I said, I've already tried it before. I think there'd be a lot of reflections and stuff going on. I think there would be one part of the crystal that's quite dark. And one part that's quite light. Because all of these crystals have like one part of them that's actually super light, where the light hits the... something like this. I think it'd be easier with these large crystals. Humming crystals. Pling! That's a bit better, I guess.
Oh well. There we go. I guess if I do every single crystal in this picture like this, then we'll still be here tomorrow. Therefore, should probably stop. I don't want to put more work into the crystals than I have into the other things. But you get the idea. I don't like that bottom crystal, therefore I'm going to do that one again. Also, that's not what a crystal would look like. I think I think the one in the background looks a lot more like a crystal. That also, I only just got that resonates with me. That's a nice pun. Sorry. Okay, so I'm gonna do some more of these towards the end, but let's draw ourselves a magical girl forge keeper before the time runs out. Okay, what would that look like? So a fairy, or literally a magical girl, like a little girl that gives you like magical powers. Should probably float. They always float. They always have some kind of wings, don't they? Pink goal, a flying axolotl. Yeah, it's like, I guess it'd be some kind of golem, because it'd be like, fuck it, of course it's gonna get a skirt. We said magical girl forge. And we meant it. No, the smile's a bit too creepy. was the end of my playlist, which is still not just... It's just under 2 hours. But I'll make it... Eventually I'll find enough songs on Epidemic Sound to make it a full 2 hours long. Butterfly wings, cause why not? We are committed to this theme now. The creepy undertone. When have you ever seen a magical girl with a creature gives them power isn't evil as hell? Well, Sailor Moon, I guess. But yeah, there is a creepy undertone. Like I said, make it creepy, but also make it creepy in non-obvious ways. You know, and like make the swamp, like super creepy and super dark, and then make the, you know, undead swamp creatures super pleasant and super nice and just, you know, very accommodating, and make it all super wholesome and nice and friendly. And then have the crystal palace zoo, you know, sparkler zoo, magical girl fairy thing, and just give it this super creepy sort of it constantly stares at you kind of vibe. Or make sure that it's you know, that it's just constantly following you around and it's completely silent. You know, things like that. Yeah, homely swamp witch just wants to feed you a stew. Exactly, that's what I mean. What are you looking at? Is it a warfare? A warfare? Oh my god. Give this hair as well of some kind. Just this kind of wobbling, bubblegummy kind of hair that always just kind of, you know, just always has a life of its own and just kind of bobbles around this creature, and you don't really know what makes it float because there's no wind. You know, that kind of creep. I like that kind of creep. There we go. We have a magical girl, forge keeper lady girl. who's super creepy, but you know, you'll have to get through it if you want your magic powers, essentially. That's such a dumb idea, but man, it could work. It can make for this really cool sort of creepy setting. Hang on, let's see if we can't get this any creepier. Hell yeah. It's in the dark, it's even more fitting. Just imagine you came across that. Would you be like, oh yes, I embrace this, give me magical powers? Or would you be like, what's this girl doing alone in this crystal forest?
Okay, let's draw some more crystals, because I'm actually having fun drawing the crystals. Yeah, also I realized that the reflections are all wrong, but hey, creepy, right? Creepy setting. We're allowed a bit of triangular creepiness. As long as you make the crystals kind of, you know, if you have these, if you sort of stick to these triangular shapes, I think that's actually the way to go. So I'll try that with the bottom one as well. Okay, it's not so bad. Happy Pride, guys! Oh yeah, yeah. Like I said before, we got some nice hang on. We got some nice Pride unicorn emotes. We also got one that I made myself, so there we are. Yay! Happy Pride Month! Okay. Make some of these a little bit transparent. Yes! There we go. Well, this is just this is the part of the stream where I haven't got much of a voice anymore and I'm just drawing triangles. So I hope you're all you're all still here and not asleep yet. Well, I really appreciate all the incredibly fun suggestions you guys have made today. This is really great. And I love that you're also open for crazy fantasy settings as I am, and to just plonk a scary magical fairy down into your setting and go, yeah, whoops, no, didn't want that. You know, and just go, yeah, this is in my setting now, guys. This is in my magical world now that I created. I guess that's the thing, you know, I think Micah mentioned something about why the magic returned to the world, which I don't want to just spoil everything, but there are reasons for why the magic returned to the world, and I don't think they're necessarily all that good. I mean, you could interpret that lore once you think about it. That lore could also be interpreted as quite scary. So I'm guessing it's really up to you how you interpret what happened to the world. You could probably make a version of Arclands that's very high fantasy and very... You could play a version that's super high fantasy and just, you know, very classical high fantasy, but basically with the twist of it's Arclands. But I guess you could also... You could also make this into a really interestingly kind of dark, low fantasy setting if you wanted to, and basically explore what that could mean for the setting. Yeah, I'd be super interested to see that. I love the turquoise, but I mean, I love turquoise anyway, but you know, love the turquoise. Love it. I think I'm getting the hang of crystals now. And truly horrific things lurking in the dark. This is my favorite forge. Now I have to make a magical girl subclass. You're welcome. You can make it another stretch goal. Oh, hindsight stretch goals. Just gonna blur these a little bit to make it look a little bit more. Yeah, also, yeah, Schnuffelhasi, I once saw a tutorial about how someone painted crystals in like watercolor, but actually the tutorial wasn't very good. I wasn't that much of a fan of it, and I sort of mostly disregarded what it said. So, I don't know, I didn't really know how to do this until I started doing it. I guess it's really learning by doing. Kind of works though. It's not perfect, but I'm getting there, I guess. There you go, all that magical sparkle that's required. There's even a glitter brush. There you go. Great pastel taste. Thank you. I love the colours. You are going to draw a crystal axolotl. Yes. Yes. Yes, do that. That sounds good. Okay, I've done these crystals. Just that purple one left. Yeah, we still got time for another crystal. More crystals. Woo. Love me any excuse to do a bit of pastel. Also, you know, never forget, I'm a child of the 90s, as you can see. My colour taste is firmly lodged in turquoise and purple being my main sources of inspiration. Actually, I this one sort of like this. And yeah, you could probably make this a lot more neat if you wanted to. This is really just me experimenting with you know, sort of the possibilities of drawing crystals. If you did this properly, you'd have to do it a little bit neater, I think. Actually, let's make this. No, let's make it like this. It's okay if it's bigger. Wow, that's a very multicolored, very kind of multifaceted crystal there. I think we wanted to remove some of that. Yeah, there we go. And now for a bit of accent. Oh, Clip Studio is reminding me to save. Set a 90s thing. It will explain your color taste as well. Yeah, purple and turquoise. Explains a lot. I had turquoise curtains when I was growing up. A turquoise chair cover, I believe. I think I had a purple duvet cover, which I loved. Yeah, I remember that very well. I think it had elephants on it. There you go. I think the ones in the front, I'll have to think of something for those. Oh, for now, I like it. I can't believe that I went from, oh yeah, I'm going to draw all these magical, you know, elements. I'm gonna draw all these magical elements. And now I'm at, you know, now the biggest Spellforge I've drawn is literally a magical girl forge. Oh well, can't predict these things. So, ooh, you have purple dyed hair ends now. Ooh, send me a picture. I am ombre fan. Give me ombre. If I hadn't had super curly hair, I'd probably be dyeing it all the time. But this way, it's already too bothersome to, you know, wash and everything. So I can never be bothered with color anymore. I used to dye it purple when I was a teenager, though, and I really like that. So purple all the way. Well, here we are, friendos. We have the Arclands Spellforges, some ideas as to what it could look like. It could look like a million other things, and you could have it tailored to your characters. You could have it tailored to your situation, your campaign, your setting, and still have it be in the Arclands world. You could experiment with the idea of magic popping up in unpredictable ways, maybe in different areas and different kinds. Maybe the characters will be, I don't know, like Spellforge hunting across the world. Such cool ideas. Yeah, we've got a little deer forge keeper, we've got a little fire imp, we've got a little swamp witch, a very friendly swamp witch who wants to give you stew. We have a mysterious fish, probably doesn't talk a lot. And we have creepy magical girl fairy in a forest of crystal. I can just imagine it, like the characters just kind of walking into that and just going, whoa, what is that? Sparkle, sparkle, sparkle.
Thank you, Micah. That's very kind of you to say. I'm glad you are supporting me. This was really fun. I'm glad I had a chance to do this. Definitely a different kind of. I am going to be honest with you. In the past few months, you know how people have been going on about like, oh my god, you know, you have all this time now that there's this lockdown. You know, you should be doing all this creative stuff. I have had such trouble finding inspiration to paint. It's been really difficult. I've been mostly stuck inside and. It's been really difficult finding the inspiration to draw something fun and kicking myself up the arse and to really get moving and draw something. And I've been sort of, not very pleased with the things I've drawn because I've just been sort of a bit down. And I love the fact that I now have more inspiration to do stuff with. So this is great. This is really fun. So, there we are. I'm glad you liked it. Check out the Arclands stuff. Micah, I will send you the artworks of this. I can also send them to you individually if you like. The 2 bigger ones at least. And, oh yeah, I'll have to do a glyph for the magical girl as well. I didn't get to do that. But this is this for tonight. And I hope you have a lovely weekend coming up. Glad Midsummer to all Swedish and Scandinavian friends. On Sunday, have fun. We're gonna have a picnic, so I'm looking forward to that. And I'll see you. One last quick question. What am I usually using as reference materials for my studies? Google. That's what I did. I literally googled deer, magical forest, and crystals today. So I'm really just Google image search, man. It really helps. And with that note of very mundane advice, I'll leave you to it for tonight. I'll send you all over back to Orkenspalter in guessing they're going to continue their little cooking night, so I'll send you back there. Have fun. Oh, I'll click on that in a minute. And yeah, I'll see you soon. Stay safe, stay healthy. See you next week. Bye.